Brother Naija.
It's Reality Bus Stop, the Big Brother Conversation Edition. My name is Karena Yudiwe, aka Karena U, and of course, I'm very much excited to be here. The first week, the housemates, we gave an introduction of the housemates. We talked about them. You can check our previous video, and then we're to come the following week. But the following week was the protest. So after the protest, everybody just kind of went low, and then the vibe of the show was kind of galloping. I mean, you could see people tweeting, this show is boring, but that's by the way. But we're like, you know what, why don't we just come and give you a review of the shows? Let's talk about a lot of things. You can also share your 2 cents in the comment section. This is actually live on Gstory's YouTube channel. Please kindly subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel. Subscribe and also follow Reality Bus Stop on Instagram and Gstory on Instagram. Just follow all our socials. About 28 housemates stepped into the house and they came in as pairs. I'm sure you're very familiar with all the pairs if you follow the show. If you did not follow the show, we are going to give you just like a highlight of what happened in 10 weeks. The arrangement was that it should be a duo season whereby pairs come into the show and, you know, play for the prize money. So we had couples who actually pretended that they were not couples. We had friends, we had lovers, we had family, auntie and a niece. We had twins, siblings that came in to play for the grand prize. But along the line, the pairs was dissolved. Yes. So I'm going to call all the pairs that came through and the ones that got evicted. Okay, so the pairs that came in, I don't know if we should do it in the particular order that they stepped into the house. The first pair that came in was Zinwe, that is Zion and Chinwe. Let's quickly talk about their game. Zion and Chinwe, they came in as couples. No, sorry, they came in as lovers. Yeah, they're actually dating. And then how would I describe Zion? Zion was that chilled guy, but Chinwe was the very loud one. And at some point, her being loud kind of affected their game because not most of the housemates found her very interesting, and so when they got into the position of being evicted, it didn't waste time. The housemate just removed them from the game. Then the next pair that came in was Radicals, very energetic pairs. Radicals, that is Mickey and Femi David. Femi David was actually a very lovable guy in the house. A lot of the housemates liked him. He was actually friends with some of the housemates. He was close to some of the housemates. He was that guy who was always trying to solve issues. He was that guy that was trying to defend a lot of persons. You know, he was just trying to, you know, see how things could work out. Because I remember one day I watched the show, I saw him telling Cassia, that's a married couple, I'm going to talk about them. Oh, Cassia, please now accept Kelly Ray loves you. I also remember when Tofa, Anita, I also talk about them. Tofa and Anita, they were having problem. He tried to resolve it. So Femi was actually the one that made his pair, like, people to love their pair a lot. So he was actually a very chilled guy. I know Mikey is a dancer. Both of them are dancers and gym guys, so that also helped them. But unfortunately, every week they kept being nominated. Every week, and they were escaping until I think the 5th week or so. That was when they finally got evicted. But they played an interesting game. They didn't stay till when they dissolved the pair. I think when they left, that was when they now dissolved the pair. The next housemate was Flourish. Flourish is DJ Flo and Rooty. Now let me tell you the truth. The reason why I couldn't come here to talk about this show on a weekly basis was because I wasn't really following this season. For those of you who do not know, this season the team is no lose guard. I wasn't really following this season. I feel like there were some little like gallop here and there in the show. I mean, a lot of people complained. So, you know, this season was not like every other season, you get. So I couldn't come to talk about the few things I'm telling you, are the few things that I know and I saw. Because it will not make sense if I start coming to talk about this housemate and I don't know anything about them. And most of the time, I actually have to check X app, which is Twitter, to get updates to know certain things. And I feel that most of those people that come and make their reviews on X, they don't really say what they see on the screen, you get. DJ Flo and Rooty. Now, these people, their game became very bad when Rooty had problem with the twins. Yes, Wanni X Handi. That's when their game became very messy. DJ Flo was that calm, cool, coordinated babe. She has this tomboy vibes. And then while Ruthie was this very energetic, vibrant lady who could not stand to see anything that doesn't go right, and who could not stand being threatened or being talked down on. So she had a clash with the twins. I'm also going to talk about the twins. And the moment that incident happened, she became a bad person and she was evicted from the game. But did they play an interesting game? They were the ones giving that energy, that chaos in the house. Because the truth of the matter is, the moment Ruthie got evicted, there was a little bit of calmness, and I feel like the organizers were not too comfortable with that calmness in the house, and that was why they brought her back with Chinwe and Tami. We'll talk about that, so that they could bring that energy. The show was not having the energy, let's be very realistic. The next pair was Ndi Nne. That's the by the way, Ruthie and DJ Flo, they're actually friends. I think they said they met from Ghana. That's how they knew each other, so they are friends. The next pair was Ndi Nne, which is Nne and Chine. That's the auntie and the niece. The auntie and the niece, these people were very, very energetic, let's not lie. They came in, especially the niece. The niece was somebody that if she was standing alone, she would have gone very far. But unfortunately, let me use the word unfortunately, the auntie kind of made it a little bit rough for her. They started their game smoothly. They were actually the first custodian. Now let me explain about the custodian for those of you that don't know. The custodian was that special title that gives you immunity. So they were the first people that got that custodian, and the custodian also comes with a lot of attachments. It could be what you could use to evict a housemate, it could be what you could use to save a housemate. So they had, in fact, the custodian has a lot of privileges that you could use against your fellow housemate. That was what the custodian is all about. So they were the first people to win the custodian, and that alone made them look like they were competitive. I'm sure that's what the housemate they felt. They made them look like they were very much competitive. So along the line, when they got into that position of who do they want to evict, it was Toby Forge and Mayor Streeze that evicted them from the game. So let's continue. The next set of pair was aces. This pair, Tofa and Suj, very, very calculative set of young gentlemen. In fact, they happen to be one of the youngest set of housemates in the house. Did they play their game very well? I can assure you that they played a very smooth game. I mean, they played a smooth game to the point that every week the audience really wanted these guys to remain in the house, and Suj was able to survive till the final stage. Suj, very energetic, comes through with his tax. Then Tofa, fashionable guy, he has a good fashion sense. He also has a fashion brand, so he was able to sell himself in a different angle. He sold himself as a fashionable guy, where he gave some of the housemates his clothes. He also showed that he's a very loving, caring guy. I mean, both of them got into a relationship with Nelita. That's another pair, Nelly and Anita, and they showed how a true gentleman should behave when it comes to taking care of a lady. In fact, let's just wrap it like they knew how to take care of their ladies. I mean, Tofa knew if he wanted to tell Anita sorry, he would do a breakfast, he would do lunch, he would do something just to spice it up. And then the kisses between Tofa and Anita, or more, it was a whole lot. These guys could kiss a lot, like they kissed a lot, and that was like one of their major highlights. They both went into a ship, so I think their ship took them very far. It took them very far. I mean, Nelita were the only pair, I'll talk about them. They were the only pair that survived to the finals, and Suj made it to the final. It was only Tofa that got evicted along the line, and that was at the 9th week. So he literally stayed till the end of the show. Okay, so the next pair, let's talk about Sean and Victoria. Sean and Victoria was that pair that many people kept questioning, like, are you sure these people really know each other? Are you sure these people are actually friends? Are you sure these people are into each other? Like, there were so many questions because Sean was kind of vibrant, but Victoria was so cool. In fact, they even tagged her as somebody that was slow, and I think it kind of helped her in a way. Victoria's game, I don't know, I feel like it's grace. You understand? I mean, who would have imagined that Victoria would stay to the very last day? And her pair, her partner Sean, went into a relationship with the twins, Wanni X Handi, one of them. We'll talk about those girls later as we go on. Went into a relationship with Wanni X Handi. Now, Wanni X Handi, that relationship, I don't know, I'm hoping, and I hope that relationship will survive outside the house. I'm watching out to see if it's going to survive outside the house. So he went into a relationship with one of those girls, and then Victoria was just left hanging. She was just left hanging, like she was all by herself. I think I don't know if I heard right, or maybe I heard there was a time she wanted to like take a voluntary exit or something. I don't know if I'm right. You can say it in the comment section. She wanted to take a voluntary exit. That's to tell you how she was not feeling herself as a pair. Then the good thing is that she got attached to some housemates who accommodated her, which was DJ Flo and Cassia. We'll talk about Cassia, we'll talk about DJ Flo. She got attached to DJ Flo, but along the line DJ Flo got evicted, so she was now close to Cassia. And then when they now dissolved the pairs, that was when, you know, it now showed like her strength. So at the end of the day, she even now became more, I think she had more fan base than her other pair, because audience were not happy with the way she was being treated. They didn't like the way her partner was treating her along the line. You know, sometimes the way they do their attacks, it wasn't giving at all. It wasn't giving. So it's good that she was able to get to the finals. I'm so happy for her. On to the next one. Yes, Wanni X Handi. Yes, these twins were very energetic. They were the life of the show, from the parties to, you know, wager task. They had issues. They were the ones that had issues with Ruti, and Ruti got evicted. So what kept them very long in the show was the fact that their energy was so much. You could feel their energy. They were that loud housemate that you always want to see what they're out. And then their diary section was also very interesting. I think their diary section also added the spice to them staying longer in the house. But then when the pairs got dissolved, one of them left. I still can't place who is who yet, because you know I'm not always watching the show, so I can't place who is who. I don't know who is Wanni, who is Handi. But then one of them got evicted when the pairs got dissolved, and that was like in the 8th week. So she literally stayed very long in the show. So they played a very nice game. They played a very fair game. And you know, now I think Wanni, if I'm not mistaken, was in a relationship with Sean. But that ship, like as I said, I want to see if that ship is going to survive after the show. The next one was better, TJ and Ben. TJ, calm, very intelligent and very smart. I think that was what even made him to stay long in the show. Then Ben was more like the talkative one, and he's a comedian, but I didn't really watch him to feel those his comedy. But the housemates kept saying, and people online kept saying, that Ben is actually a very funny guy. Ben is actually a funny guy. Ben got into a ship that many people still feel that ship too was not given, with Chizoba, that's the Chekas sister, Onyeka and Chizoba. We'll talk about them later as we go on. Yes, he got into a relationship with them. He was a funny guy. I think him being funny also made the housemates to like him, and he stayed long enough, or not too long. I think they stayed till when the pairs were dissolved. Yes, then TJ, his luck was when he became the head of house, and he's very smart, intelligent. That also helped him to stay longer in the game. But Ben left first before TJ was now evicted. But they were not evicted as pairs. They were evicted as individual players. Okay, so the next housemate is the Mbadiwe twins. Yes. You know, everybody kept asking that, what do these housemates see in these Mbadiwe twins, that Mbadiwe twins, they stayed so long in the game? Mbadiwe twins got involved with Chekas, you know, that's the Chekas sister Onyeka and Chizoba. And then they were also known to be the set of housemen who always try to bring peace and calmness to the house. That's why the house was not so loud and noisy. Whenever issues come up, they are the ones that will be the peacemaker, try to make sure that things go well. They will not complain. They will not want the housemate to fight. And then I feel like they must have promised, according to what people said online, that, you know, they are influential. Mbadiwe, according to them, their family is the old money of Nigeria. They get plenty money. So I feel like according to what people are saying, that the Mbadiwe teams must have promised the housemates certain things. So most of the time these guys were not nominated at all. Like they won head of house one certain time, they were not nominated. They didn't even get close to that point. It was when they dissolved the pairs, and it was the 9th week that one of them got evicted. I think that's OC. I also can't place them too because I was not really following it up. So they play a nice game, and then there's this shifting between Victoria and Chizoba. I mean Victoria and Onyeka. Yes, the Shatoria group. So I don't know, was it OC or OZ? I don't know which of them was always getting involved with Victoria, or it was always getting involved with Onyeka. I think this also caused a problem between Victoria and Onyeka. They were not too cool with each other because this person wanted to know, are you going for this guy? And then aside from that, these guys actually have relationship outside the house. I think one of them, his girlfriend, I think they've already done introduction, and that one is already pregnant or something. Yeah, she's pregnant, she's heavy. So we just couldn't place these guys. According to them, they came to change the narrative people have of them. I don't know if they did that, but then I always see Frankly Speaking with Bbnaija saying things about them like they actually didn't change or whatever. I don't know. So let's talk about the next housemate, which is Tami, Damilola and Toyosi. These girls, I wish they really stayed longer, especially for Dami, Lola and Toyosi. They did not have a very smooth game. In fact, they left the first week. The week Big Brother said they are evicting housemates, they were the first pairs that left, and it was so rough. I'm sure it really messed them up. Like, they didn't experience, we didn't get to see this housemate. But we know Dami, that first week she got into the house, she had a problem. She had a fight with the housemates, and that was where the problem came. When they had the opportunity to evict them, they evicted Dami. Although Dami apologized to the house, but they still evicted the pair. And then when the house was becoming so boring and quiet, guess what? Big Brother brought them back, brought Dami actually back. They didn't bring Toyosi back. So I didn't get to see more of Toyosi. I don't even know much about Toyosi. If you ask me to talk about Toyosi, I can't say anything about Toyosi. But Dami was that first person that when the first week she came, she caused problem. I think she had a fight with the housemate or so. So when they needed the game to be on fire, they brought Dami back. They brought her back with Chinwe and Buti. Yes, they brought her back. So they would have had an interesting game, but I feel Dami was the one that made the game kind of messy for Toyosi. The next one, Nelita. These babes, smart and very calculative set of young ladies that played the game very well. The only surviving pair. Yes, they survived to the grand finale, and it was interesting. They got into a ship. They won head of house twice. That's to tell you that they really played this game very well. Their ship also helped them to stay longer. Anita, very smart, outspoken. She does her task very well. She does her presentation very, very well. It was nice to watch her. Then Nelly, she was also very vibrant. Then her issues most of the time was Suj. Sometimes it was always a controversy, and it made them to trend. The good thing is that they played a very smooth game, and it landed them to the final. That's what I can see. They played a very interesting game. Streeze. That is Toby Forge and Mayor Froge. Toby Forge and Mayor Froge. Toby Forge and Mayor Froge. Pronouncing their name is even hard because I'm not used to them. They were actually good. They were not so bad, but I don't know. Their game became kind of messed up along the line. You understand? Mayor Frosh was in between ladies. I think he was not decisive on who he wanted to go out with, whether it was Nelly or whether it was Ruti. I think that was where the game started having issues. And then Toby Ford wanted to go out with the married lady, but the married lady was just giving him that cold feet because she's actually married and she couldn't go out with anybody. But their plan, don't worry, we'll talk about them as the time goes on. But their game became messed up. So when they got the opportunity to be on the chopping board, they got evicted. Now, these people, their strategy was hot. Doublekay, talking about Cassia and Kelly Ray. Now, Cassia and Kelly Ray are married. But when they came into the house, they told the housemate that they are not married, that they are besties. A lot of housemates did not subscribe to it because of their level of closeness and all. But did this help their game? It did. It did, because when they came into the house and said they were married, they were actually besties. The viewers were now like, this one that these people have come to say that they are besties, are you sure they will not spoil their game? But Kelly Ray showed maturity, Cassia showed a lot of decency, and that was why the audience really loved them. Despite the fact that they were married, they still played their game. Individually, they were doing their thing well. Cassia very creative with her outfits. Kelly Ray good in his singing. He was also that peacemaker. He was very matured. He was very caring to the housemates. And this was what made the audience to really love them. In fact, they called them the original ship of Big Brother Naija. So I think a lot of people are saying Kelly Ray is going to win. So they were the ones that anytime they see, they'll be like, the money is married, the money is married, the money is married. They played a very nice game. Although Kelly Ray along the line, when Cassia got evicted, she revealed to the housemate that Cassia was actually his wife. So they played a very smooth game. Okay, so the last pair, Chekas, which is Onyeka and Chizoba. Onyeka was that housemate that was like the parrot. She was all over the place. She was in people's business, and it helped them as a pair. But then when the pair got dissolved, that was how Chizoba got evicted and Onyeka was left, and Onyeka managed. Onyeka got into the final, like the top 8. She played a very nice game, although not many people subscribe to her energy, but she has a lot of fans. These were the set of housemates that were actually at the bottom 4 who ended up being at the top, because every week, I think every week or so, they were at the bottom 4. Okay, so that being said, I think that is actually everything about this housemate. Although a lot of people complain that the game was very, very boring, this season was very boring, I'm not going to lie. I'm that person that whenever I hear Big Brother is going on, I could literally cancel my dates, cancel my appointments, cancel everything, because I don't want to miss out on anything. But I like almost all the eviction show. I don't think I can count the number of times I watched the eviction show. I wasn't really following it up that much. Sometimes I just literally have to get to their Instagram page to catch up and know what is going on. What do I think the organizers could do better? The organizers have a lot of homework to do, because I don't know how the selection is being done. There are a lot of complaint that there's a lot of underground things that goes on in the selection, but I'm not here to talk about that. Normally in Nigeria we would do so anyhow connection go there along the line, who know who, those things they follow, but I'm not here to talk about that. But if that's what really goes on, then I think it's really affecting the way this game is being played. Because I'm not gonna lie, the last time I really enjoyed Big Brother was during the lockdown season. There was a lot of controversies, there were things to talk about. The housemates were also, most of the housemates got into very intelligent conversation. When you turn on your screen, you could see some of the housemates talking something that is very much interesting. But these people, when I turn on my screen, sometimes I see them playing table tennis, I see them talking things that are not so interesting, and then most of the time they are talking about ship thing. I don't know whether most of the house, when they get to the house, they come up with this ship mindset, thinking that okay, the ship thing that will take them to the other level. So I think the selection basis should be looked into. Now we know that all the aspiring housemates, they send in a video. Can you guys take us through the process? Can we know what happens after they send that video? It will be interesting to watch, like other shows, Nigerian Idol, Voice. Whenever we see how the audition process goes, we see how they qualify to the next stage, and to the other stage. So it will be nice if the organizers start taking us through the process. After that submission of video, what happens next? What do people show us? How do these housemates qualify? Because most of the time I'm like, how did this housemate get into this house? Because the story of this housemate were boring was everywhere, to the point that Big Brother literally had to bring housemates that were evicted. And honestly, that particular method, that particular this thing was kind of embarrassing, because bringing those girls to come back into the house, making them to be so loud, dramatic, just because you wanted to get views, to me, I didn't really fancy it at all. Some people felt that it was a show, but for me it was not a show, because if all your housemates are good, there is no way you'll be bringing an old housemate into the house. And then the housemates should also know that they are coming there to play a game. So it's a reality game show. Be yourself, do your thing. Don't come there and become cold. Don't come there and say, oh, if you're living your normal life, come there on TV. Live your normal life. Let people learn. Let people know. There are a lot of things I learned. There are a lot of things I learned from each season. Like this season, I can say I learned something from the Kelly Ray and Cassia strategy. They came into the show and then they played a very matured game. Many people were thinking that these people were going to flirt around, they're going to do this. And then also the relationship thing between Nelita and the Aces. I mean, the guys they are following are younger guys. But it turns out that these young guys are actually very smart, intelligent. They actually prove that age is just a number. You can be 40 and still behave foolish. But these guys, they are very young guys and they were very mature. They knew how to handle their ladies. So these were some of the things that I took. Then there are other things I don't really know, but I feel like last year or previous years, there's a lot of things to learn from the show. So the selection should actually let them take us on a journey on how the selection is being done. Aside from that, I also know that the economy affected the viewing of the show. Not most of us subscribed our Showmat, not most of us subscribed our GoTV or our DSTV because the prices of these things were getting high, and most of us are considering our stomach, gas chop. So there are a lot of things. The economy was not too friendly. These are things I feel really made the show. People were not so happy, and then the protests, all these things added to the fact that I beg, we need to focus on our problem. Big Brother is not our issue. I know the organizers tried. It's not easy to run a reality show for 10 weeks. I'm not here to come and discredit them, but I feel they could do better. It's not compulsory that the show shouldn't happen every year. I think at this point they should take a break. They should study the environment, study how the whole setting is. Maybe along the line they shouldn't make it that 10 weeks. They should just make it 1 month. I don't know if I'm making any sense. If you think you have suggestions on how Big Brother should be done in the next coming years, you can say it in the comment section. But then, did you enjoy the show? For me, I didn't really enjoy the show. I know why I said so, because I know myself, whenever I hear Big Brother is going on, I will run, leave everything I'm doing. I think this video is way too lengthy. I hope you watch to the very end. If you watch to the very end, kudos, you're a genius. My name is Karina Yu. This is Reality Bus Stop, the Big Brother Conversation Edition. Maybe there might be another video for us to talk about other things about Big Brother, but probably it will be more of like a documentary setting. Let's talk about the show proper, previous years, and more things that we feel should be talked about. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please kindly do, and see you in the next video. Peace.
Big Brother Naija.